Akhil Agrawal. Acharya ji Pranam. I remember you saying that the ego does not accept anybody to be higher than itself. Also, that there is nothing higher than the Atman. Therefore, I ask, under what circumstances can an individual, whether centered in ego or in Atman, honestly accept somebody to be superior than him? Also, it is logical that such a person should never expect others to be inferior to himself either. However, I see that ego may have to surrender to Atman for its own welfare. Thank you. I don't know who is this hypothetical individual you are talking about, Akhil. I would have loved to see his face and hear his name. I assume it is yourself you are talking about. You are saying, under what circumstances can an individual, whether centered in ego or in Atman, honestly accept somebody to be superior than him? Somebody who is centered in Atman is beyond comparison. So no question of him accepting somebody as superior or inferior. So that is finished. Now, if somebody is centered in ego, then if he wishes himself well, he would consider the one as superior to himself who brings him truth. If someone brings the truth to you, if someone aids you in the process of reaching the truth, then take that person as superior to yourself. Full stop. You just have to see what is it that you want. The one who brings to you that which you deeply want is superior to you. Full stop. If you are one who wants physical health, then obviously you are respectful to the doctor, aren't you? If you want to learn tennis, then you are respectful to the tennis coach. And if you want liberation, then you are respectful to those who assist your liberation. We know the story of the king who went away from his palace for a while. He left the capital city for a few months, and his council of ministers was to look after the affairs of the state in his absence. And they asked him for a guideline, some kind of a talisman. And he said, when you are to take a decision, ask yourself, how would the king decide were he here? Don't decide as yourself, decide as me. And you probably won't go wrong. You can do that. Decide as whosoever you consider to be your ideal. I know I am venturing a little into a dangerous territory today, because now I am talking of role models as well, ideals as well. But then you are a beginner. So I must begin a few new things with you, no? Time to be a beginner with the beginner. And that's needed, because the ego hardly knows or acknowledges anything outside of itself. So it's a great opportunity if the ego has acquiesced to accepting somebody as an ideal. Maybe the ego got impressed with the glamour, the show, the gaudiness, the veneration. Maybe that's what influenced the ego. But at least the ego did agree that there is somebody bigger or higher than itself. Now make use of this submission of the ego. Are you getting it? So, for example, the ego loves the grandeur of an important king. What does the ego love? The grandeur of an important king. And he ruled over a vast swath. And there were millions who subordinated to him. And the ego loves this display of strength and hegemony. All right. Now when it comes to an important decision, rather any decision, ask the ego, what would the king have done in this instance? And the king is not called a great for no reason. The king is a great king because he has wisdom, discretion, courage. So ask the ego, what would have your favorite king done in such a situation? Do that. The ego loves duplicity. It wants to have the greats as its role models, but parallelly wants to continue living a lowly life. So all the high ones would be used just as fanciful entertainments to the mind. Talk of Raja Ram, talk of Harishchandra, talk of Jesus, talk of Krishna, talk of Buddha and Mahavir, and continue to live your lowly life. No. If you really admire a Ram or a Krishna, ask yourself, what would have Krishna done in this situation? Do that. And even if you don't do that, at least let that comparison trouble you. It is very important for the ego to be humbled and troubled. You require somebody to show you the mirror. Be that person. Keep showing yourself the mirror a lot of times. Similarly, if you profess that you are a student, ask yourself, what would my teacher do in such a situation? So that you at least know that you are a poor and unworthy student. See what kind of life the teacher is living, and see what kind of life you are living, and see how you still entertain yourself with the title of being an able student. Are you really a worthy student? So, Narendra, these are the ways through which you can assess your thoughts and feelings and life and actions. As you proceed through the course, maybe more subtle methods would become known to you. But for the while, this should suffice.